Hi diddly ho there, neighborino. I guess I just say Ned Flanders things at the beginning of every episode. That's the one constant.
Don't sue us.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
I mean,
we thought we came up with it, but it turns out it's from this show called The Simpsons. I don't know.
Have
you heard of the show?
It's pretty obscure. It's not a very well-known show.
Is that new or?
Yeah, I think so. I think Disney just bought it.
Oh, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
They own everything else.
They sure do. Welcome
Disney
everybody.
Disney
gone Disney, that's right. They just got a new CEO. It's their old CEO.
Wasn't he an old CEO?
Yeah. But he's, you know, what's old is new again, I guess. But welcome folks to another episode of the Draw Bizzle. The Drizzle Bizzle. DrawBomb is a show where we draw pictures and talk about goofy shit. That's the show right there. That's the premise.
Already we got some folks in the chat. We got Z Newts, we got Belbo Rock, we got Leviathan Den. Great behavior.
We got them all here. We got the whole gang is here.
Whoa. Did you guys, I see some talk in the chat of, did you guys give thanks recently? Some of you and Ian?
Yeah,
some of the folks in the chat?
We have, like, when our family technically celebrates, like, 2 Thanksgivings. One with the family, like, extended and etc. And then, one with just, like, us as a family. And so we just did the one that's, like, with all the extended family and stuff. Like, we do the actual, like, Thanksgiving Day dinner as just, like, us.
That's cool. That's fun.
How was it? Stress. Because then everyone doesn't have to, like, make it on a specific day. It's like we can just schedule it for when it works best and then do the actual Thanksgiving, you know, just a little quiet soiree.
I've always had family members who, like, when we used to do we don't really do it anymore, but we used to do, like, the big family Thanksgiving, like, when grandparents were still around.
Mm-hmm.
There'd always be, like, the few, like, cousins that were like, this is, like, our 4th dinner we've been to today, and they're driving all over the state all day.
Oh, my God.
Hell no. I would just be like,
we don't do that.
You guys get next year. I'm not going everywhere.
Yeah, we just do, we do one big dinner for the whole fam. We set it up when it's convenient for everybody. It's just the better way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally, you guys got the right idea. Lizaze is back. Welcome back.
Welcome to the chat. Lizaze, welcome to the show. Glad to have everybody here.
Yeah, it's great. I did a Thanksgiving yesterday as well with some of Morgan's family.
Oh.
It's great. Food was great. I had a good time.
How was that?
I love Thanksgiving.
You just said it was
food.
great.
And also, yeah, they're great. You know, it's not just the food, but yeah, that's a big part of it too. Love that food.
I ate that food and then I passed the flock out. I tell you what.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. I didn't like stuff myself or anything like that, but I ate till I was full, and then I was like, I'm gonna sit on this chair and I'm going to sleep until somebody rudely claps in my face and says it's time to go.
Is that what happened?
Yes.
Uh-uh.
Well, they clapped and then they shook me.
Maybe they tried, like, do you think maybe they tried just, like, Ian first, and you were just too, like, in those, like, mashed potato dreams to hear them?
It's possible.
Or did they start with the claps?
I mean, I was asleep, so I couldn't, you know, I wasn't there,
I suppose. I didn't know if you had any, like, you know, some people, they have a dream where they're, like, there's, like, a fire alarm, and they're trying to get out of the building, and it turns out it's their, like, alarm clock.
You know, I don't do that. I've never had that really happen. if like a noise starts happening near me and I'm like cognizant enough to like process it, I'm just gonna wake up. I just wake the fuck up. I'm like, oh, there's that.
I'm a deep sleeper.
I'm a deep sleeper too, but like, I can sleep through loud noises, but if it's like a noise that's gonna seep into my brain, like where it would be like incorporated into my dreams, I just wake up. I've never like had that sort of that melding of reality and the dreamscape.
Fair enough. I meld. A lot of times when I'm dozing off, my worlds collide. A lot of weird talking in my sleep and like dreaming while I'm still like kind of awake. Weird stuff.
Yeah. That's you, buddy. That's you right there. You know, it definitely, it's funny. People will sort of take those sort of moments to be like, no, that means that it's got a meaning in my dream. And we've talked about our thoughts on what meaning dreams have in the past.
I believe our consensus is none.
It's not.
Maybe like there might be like some of the things that you're like stressed or thinking about.
Yeah.
Sure, but it's like a direct correlation to like what you're thinking about. It's not like your subconscious is trying to tell you something or predict the future or something like that.
It's your brain just unpacking everything that you've done over the course of the day or thought about. And
think of it like, you know, me and Ian are both artists. We can both draw pictures, but our brains while we're sleeping are kind of like an AI artist.
Yeah.
It's just using the resources that it's able to dig through to try to create something, and it always comes out looking janky as shit, like any AI art you've seen.
There's a lot of
it
blurred...
might be cool or interesting, but there's just like kind of fucked up.
There's a lot of stuff that looks like it's very detailed, but then when you like look at it a little bit closer, you see that it's actually just like a blur, just a skillfully done blur. Yeah,
I take solace in knowing that AI generators have trouble drawing hands too.
I mean, I've seen some pretty crazy AI. There's this one Instagram account I follow, and I really enjoy what they do. They like it's all AI art, but what they've done is they've created this like fake show in that like is shot on like a different planet or something like that, and it's like takes place in a different galaxy. And it started out with like later seasons, like it would just go like these screenshots are production stills from season 22 episodes, or just season 22 of this show that exists in this galaxy, and then it'll give like a backstory about like the one that like initially caught my eye on the Instagram account was like all of these pictures were like it's a very horror-esque like looking imagery a lot of the time. But like with a sort of a sci-fi twist to it. But the one post that like first caught my attention of this account, like everything was like covered in foam or like some kind of weird substance throughout, and I was just like, what's going on? And then I read the post, and it's like, in this season, the great overlord brain blah 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 unleashed its psychic wave that caused everybody to imagine the years, or to imagine all the events of the preceding 5 years, were imagining that everyone was covered in foam. No one actually was covered in foam, but because of the psychological effects, producers added in foam to all the shots and post-process. Like, it's like a whole weird backstory like that for like this collection of, you know, every post is usually a series of images and not just one. So like they started out doing production stills, quote unquote, from this like intergalactic TV show that like it was like a soap opera or something like that. It had like 1 million seasons or something like that, and you know, just weird imagery generated by like AI art. And now they've sort of been going through episode by episode, starting from season 1 and like really building out the lore. And wow. it's like there's some really cool imagery from these sort of this account. Like there's like the first season is like Western with like a lot of skull themes, and so like you get like a lot of weird alien bloody skulls wearing cowboy outfits and things of that nature. It's very interesting. Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Sounds like they're going all out.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you. I could probably find the name of it if I just looked real. I'll take a quick look. Quick look-see. A little look-see.
Real quick in the chat, Bellbell Rocket says, being married and having to go to 2+ Thanksgiving sounds stressful. I know. That's why, like, me and Morgan were just like, nah, we'll pick one if they're on the same day, and then maybe we'll go to yours next year. Like, this year we're going to my dad's. We haven't gone to his in a couple of years. And I'm okay with that. I think I would be more, like, stressed about, like, seeing everybody if Christmas wasn't right around the corner.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I definitely see everybody for Christmas, so, you know, it's a little different. So, I don't know. I just pick one. I don't travel all around the state all day. Sounds...
Yeah, that sounds...
annoying.
Yeah, you couldn't sign me up to do that, like, unless you were...
I would die in the car. I'd fall asleep and, like, crash.
Yeah.
The car. Just ate 12 pounds of turkey and mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Yeah, the itis, the lethargy from just the like that tryptophan thing. It turns out that's like an urban legend or something like that. But you know, the sleepiness after being full is real. It's just not specifically like everyone's like, oh, that tryptophan.
Kind of fake. So tryptophan's real, but it's in all meat, and turkey's not the thing with the most of it. But it is a real thing in like meat that makes you sleepy. But I mean, eating a lot of food makes you sleepy no matter what. Like,
yeah, it's not specifically like the tryptophan like alone that's making you, you know, sort of have that.
Right.
So I posted a link, by the way, to the account in question that I'm talking about in the Discord under links, but I'm gonna real quick post like a cool image from like this account. Like, this is AI generated. These are like fake, like a fake still from the episode, and it's like there's a lot of stuff like that. Like this season, quote unquote, that they're doing, like they're setting up, like this season 1 is very Western plus creepy skulls and clowns sort of vibe.
I like that.
Yeah, really cool stuff. And like they make it look like it's like production stills for a lot of these posts, but that's really cool stuff. And then yeah, every post just has just a shit ton of lore, because it's like the guys I think kind of using this to help build out this sort of idea for a universe for him to like work on, you know, eventually.
I think AI art is a cool prompt maker type thing.
Yeah, I think what it's really very useful for isn't like replacing the artist, although a lot of people do use it for that specific purpose. But you know, if you give it like a prompt, it's gonna come up after like a couple of iterations, or maybe its first iteration, like a different sort of interpretation of that prompt than I think a person would come up with, because like the AI really plumbs the depths of its libraries of knowledge to sort of put this like these in, so you get like a lot of very interesting combinations of things.
And you know, even if somebody could come up with all that stuff, and they probably could if you put enough time into it, it's just like an extra, it's like having an extra person in the writer's room. It's like one more, oh, I wouldn't have thought of it that way type thing.
Yeah, good to get that perspective.
Yeah, I know there's some like moral issues with it, and
yeah, specifically when it comes to like, oh hey, this person's style. Yeah,
and I was a little bit more on board in the beginning, but since it's gotten more prominent and I've seen more of those kinds of things, I'm like, okay, I can see how that's a problem.
Yeah. One could say that this...
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, one could say that the solution is be unimitatable, but also that's like, it's unfortunate because
is that possible?
Well, I mean, if you just, you know, if you're always doing something different with your art, but then that makes your art less marketable and thus makes you less prone to exposure.
And why would anybody create anything if you can't sell it?
Exactly right. You know, capitalism is really the end-all goal of art, if you really think about it.
I get up in the mornings to make content.
Yeah, I'm like, boy, content specifically is the word I love. That's that's the buzzword right there that everyone enjoys. Like when artists like put paint to canvas, their first thought is this is going to be some of the best content.
This might get some clicks.
Hope I get some likes. Michelangelo only wishes he had likes on Instagram.
Michelangelo, while he's painting the Sistine Chapel, he was like, I bet you this is going to raise some real ad revenue.
Yeah. Michelangelo's Instagram account is Likealangelo, because he knows that people are going to like his.
His YouTube channel's annoying. He's always doing like a weird voice, and it's like, just talk normal.
Here are the top 5 blueprints that people think will fly.
Wait, isn't that Da Vinci?
What did I say, Michelangelo? Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just confused.
If you like this week's cherub painting, smash that like button, demolish that subscribe button.
Make sure, yeah, you know, I'm trying to remember what specifically Michelangelo painted, and I know it's a lot, but off the top of my head, I don't want to say.
Sistine Chapel's the big one.
Yeah, I mean that one I knew, but you know, going more in depth than that.
Stuff.
Yeah. Leonardo da Vinci.
Back then, you didn't. You were commissioned, and that's about the only stuff you made.
Yeah, the church specifically commissioned you. The church was like, I need you to make some dope Jesuses that look super bummed out.
I need some titty sucking babies.
I need some titty sucking babies.
Yeah. Statue of David. That's an obvious one.
Yeah.
Bubba Rocket gets the credit. I didn't think about that.
I started like the thing is,
he did some sculpting too. Didn't even think about the Statue of David. Like the most, like it's like the Mona Lisa of sculptures, basically. It's like
yeah. In my head, like I thought Statue of David, but after I combined Michelangelo with Leonardo da Vinci once, I just stopped saying what I thought maybe he had done out loud because I was just like, I'm gonna, you know, there's that famous quote that says, "Better to keep your mouth shut and have people think you're an idiot than open your mouth and remove all doubt." And that was the
good one.
It's a quote I like to live by. Not on this show in particular. On this show, I talk constantly and prove myself to be a dumbass at every potential turn. But
guys, all my art history classes were at like 8 a.m. You can't expect me to remember that shit forever. Come on.
There's like 50,000 old masters that people have to study. Okay, like I can't study all of them. Like, I'm sorry. I can't go.
Like those art history classes would have been enjoyable more if it wasn't just like rapid fire. Like, here's a painting, here's the history. Okay, remember that. Here's a painting, here's the history. All right, remember that. Let me explain why I did it. Here's the next one. It's just like rapid fire, one piece after another in slides in a dark room at like 8 a.m. when I'm like a college student who's also working and is like trying to stay awake.
I feel like I would have absorbed a lot more of my art history classes if like I wasn't also working 60 hours like a day, like trying to get my finals done, or if like my success in that class and like bullshitting my way through the answers didn't determine like if I went another $12,000 in debt.
Yeah, the pressure kind of kills the whole point of it.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a good point. Yeah, it's hard to stay zeroed in on that when you have a million other things.
Yeah, the crushing anxiety of oh my god, here I am learning about like these old guys making paintings. I have to finish an entire like 3 like 8-hour process drawings by tomorrow.
Gotta go home and paint an apple from 3 different directions.
Yeah.
With gouache.
I like gouache.
Me too. I'm not shitting on gouache, don't get me wrong.
Don't you dare shit on gouache.
Great paint. Great medium. But in chat, like gouache, say yeah. No, gouache is great. It's like watercolor, but opaque.
It's opaque, yeah, it's opaque watercolor, which means it's like watercolor without all the Baba Booey bullshit of Having to go multiple layers.
Yeah, what, you think I got all day? I have to paint the same painting 30 times.
If I want this shit to be blue, I'd like it to be blue the first time.
Exactly.
Not blue with 80% paper.
I like watercolor too.
Yeah, I like watercolor a lot. They're the I mean, I work really well in watercolor and to that extent gouache. But I work really well with oil too. I mean, they're all, you know.
I think oil is like the coolest to work with, but it's the most time consuming and messy.
Yeah,
and that deters me from doing it.
It's a little bit scary to work with because it's like, oh shit, if I touch something wrong and then touch something else, I'm just gonna like stain my walls with oil forever.
And well, you have some time. It takes like 3 weeks to dry.
So it's true, yeah. Depending on the type of linseed oil you're using.
Oil paints are cool, but yeah, it's just too much. I'm not patient enough with stuff.
It's a lot of handling hazardous materials.
Double Rock says oil never fucking dries. It doesn't, and that's kind of its like allure, but it's also a pain.
Yeah.
Like the bonus is you can just keep working and reworking it for like.
You can blend it,
you know,
till the cows come home.
You'll get sick of working on it before it dries. So like you can basically do it unlimited. Sometimes you want your painting to dry.
Yeah, sometimes you're like, I'm good. I need this to dry so I can paint over top of this in opaque
I guess
colors.
I'll come back in a week to continue this project.
Boy, do I got any other commissions from the Pope? Interesting. I have like a number of brushes I've downloaded that like mimic various tactile painting materials, and the watercolor ones, sometimes they'll come with like a quick action where it's like this little button specifically for Clip Studio Paint. I'm sure Photoshop has quick actions too. But what it'll do is it'll like be the dry, like this button makes the watercolor brush you just use dry. And that's it. That's just the interesting part about it. Is just like, that
is pretty cool.
The drying functionality. Like I should break one of those down at some point just to see what the hell they're doing, because I'm curious.
There's some great digital brushes.
There sure are.
Thanks, people out there making those. You make me look talented. Make things.
I've made a number of brushes myself that I think are pretty cool.
I've seen some of them. You are a brush maker, that's for sure.
I'm quite proud of the reptile scales that just make it like you can just draw the scales of like a dragon or some shit on the thing.
Sounds pretty handy because that's a tedious thing to draw.
It sure is. It can also double as fish scales to an extent.
Could you use that when we were drawing the old Leviathan in Waterlogged?
I was thinking that, but when I was thinking about it, I was like, you know, I did do something. I know I took like a texture, and I'm pretty sure I just copied and pasted it and like warped it around the Leviathan just to like speed the time up. I know I didn't draw all those scales on that thing. There was no way. I definitely did some trickery.
We got Crazy Kyle here. Says, dude, that's another art interest of mine. I never dove into watercolor. And you should check it out. It's nice. I think especially if you're like, you want to take your time, it's great for that because you go like, you just layer on very light layers one after another until you get your final thing. So you basically like, you know, if you make a mistake, there's time for, well, depending on the mistake, you can usually kind of repair it.
Yeah. But you have to make sure like you have good paper, because the worse the paper quality, like the more like if you're working with paper that's not really good quality, then each brush stroke with like a wet brush is like knocking away at its health bar in that specific spot of the paper, and eventually it's going to start to flake and tear away and look real bad.
That's true.
And you got to make sure you use specifically watercolor paper or canvas or, you know, whatever. But like it's specifically got to be for watercolor, because you can't just use Bristol paper with watercolor. That'll look bad.
Yeah. Aren't there some like grittier Bristol, or is Bristol smooth? There's smooth,
there is gritty Bristol,
watercolor
but
wouldn't be the.
Yeah, no matter what.
For watercolor.
Yeah, no matter what, you should not use. Trust me on this one. You do not want to use any form of Bristol paper, no matter how rough. For watercolor, you're gonna want something that says watercolor paper. Because I tried doing a commission for somebody last year, and I was doing like my test run on Bristol, and at the moment I put like the brush to the paper, it like shriveled up into like a fucking ball. And I was like, oh, nope, that's why you use watercolor paper specifically. Which I didn't have any, so I ended up doing the piece with colored pencil, which came out looking pretty good, because I'm really good with colored pencil too.
I like colored pencil.
Yeah.
Especially like good ones, like nice prism pencils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that have like a lot of a lot of range, like a lot of like in between colors. Those big ass packs that are like 1,000 pencils for the whole spectrum.
Yeah. Great.
Good shit.
Double Rock says, I like oil pastels, adult Crayola. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
They're like fancy crayons. Granted, like Prisma pencils are kind of like fancy crayons too. They're also wax.
Oh, true.
They have a sharp point. They're harder. I don't know. If that's
well, does that make them colored
bullshit.
pencils if they're wax? I thought colored pencils needed to be like graphite to. If it doesn't, isn't that just like a nicer oil pastel? If it's wax, that fundamentally changes.
I don't know what colored pencil is made out of. I'm gonna look this up.
Pretty sure it's graphite.
What do I look like, Dick Blick? I don't know, man.
What am I, Johnny Utrecht over here?
Let's see, what is a colored pencil made from? A colored pencil tree. Let's see. Colored pencils feature a wood casing filled with a wax or oil-based inside.
Oh, you said wax.
Yeah, there's no graphite in colored pencils.
Oh, shit. I'm fucking wrong.
There you have it. It's just a different, it's like a harder wax.
I never knew. I was walking around like a fucking baby in the world, new to the experiences of life, thinking that colored pencils had graphite. What a fucking maroon. What an idiot I was.
You can learn new things every day.
What a fucking dummy.
At least you're, you know, willing to accept when you're wrong, you know?
Yes. Although I shouldn't say what a maroon, even though I'm using like Looney Tunes slang. The word maroon is
not. Oh yeah, that came off
of
of some scale, right?
Yeah, it's yeah. It's measuring
color.
It's measuring it's basically like a measurement of race.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not good.
I know that.
Yeah. When I was working with a band in Philly, and they were the soundtrack for a play that was being put on in Philly for a play called The Octoroon. And I don't know what fraction a maroon is, but octoroon is 1/8, like a white person who's 1/8 black. So a maroon is somewhere on the scale of that. But yeah, it's not.
You're always good at letting me know when I'm accidentally racist. Like, by the way,
it's not often. It's just, you know,
No, I know. But there's a lot of like obscure phrases that are baked in that I didn't even know were bad.
This is true, yeah. Always trying to be better. What can I say?
Well, colored pencils are made of wax, and don't say that word.
If you learned any
in the chat, hello.
Hey, if you learned any word from Looney Tunes, it's probably best to Google it before you use it. I thought maroon went when sailors abandoned someone on an island. That is a version of that word, but
I think that has a separate meaning.
When
if there's like, you know, homonyms
and antonyms and synonyms, yeah, I mean, I remember looking that word up and being like, oh, oh no.
Belba Rocket says, Ian is your culturally sensitive white friend. It's good to have him around.
That's me.
Keeps me out of trouble.
Culturally sensitive in the streets, culturally insensitive in the sheets.
Oh no, do you use slurs in your dirty talk? What is that about?
I don't know what that means. It's open to interpretation, how about? Well, let's get, now that we've sort of, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I like the fuse that you incorporated into the part in the hair.
Thank you. The fuse is hard to quite figure out for some of these outfits. Like, I like how you got
sometimes
fuses
they have hats
coming out of their hats, which is fun. Interesting. Also, none of us lit the fuses this time. Normally I light the fuses.
I usually do it when I color.
Oh, that's right, because you make it like, you do like a flash special effect.
Yeah. I'm a special kind of guy, you know?
Oh boy. You're a VFX house.
Right.
You got hired to make like 75% of the Life of Pi movie.
Yeah, that's true. Zone Dog, you better watch out. Coming for your job.
That's right. Well, that VFX house shut down after the movie came out. That movie bankrupted them.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about how it went after I got done working there.
Oh yeah, you got out just in time. That was actually I remember watching those Oscars and it was really fucked up because like that VFX house won the Oscar, but they were like actively in the process of shutting down because that movie had bankrupted them, and they just like were pushed so hard to make that movie happen, and so that the VFX studio was shutting down. So when the guy who was like the head of the studio or whatever was accepting his award, he started going off on a speech about how the VFX industry was exploited by the movie industry, and so like they fucking started playing that like play us off music immediately. Like he got about 5 words into his speech talking about their like how exploited they are. And the fucking music, like the band started playing, and then they cut his mic off after like 5 seconds of that.
Oh, bastards.
Yeah. It was, I remember watching that and being like, this is really rude what they're doing. Like, he didn't get, fucking Gwyneth Paltrow or whoever just gave a 20-minute long speech saying like, us rich people need to really worry about poor people, and everyone gave her a standing ovation. Some poor VFX guy whose studio is getting shut down is like, hey, can y'all like not exploit us? And then like he gets played off in 2 minutes. It was a stark moment. I remember in that awards show, I was like, I'm drunk and this is fucked up.
Yeah, Life of Pi looked real good.
Yeah, Life of Pi, but it didn't.
I never saw it actually.
Yeah, I read the book, but I never watched the movie, nor have I ever like really had an interest in watching the movie. We have some people in the chat saying First Nations had their own sport. First Nations is what they refer to Native Americans in Canada. They had their own, yeah, I'm sure they had their own sport. I mean, it would probably depend on like specifically which nation. I think, because, you know, there's a lot of sort of different cultures within the various nations. I specifically, Brandon and I had a discussion actually before we did this episode. I specifically looked up the tribe that Squanto was a part of, and I've had reference images for their clothing open as we do this drawing, because I didn't want to fuck it up and like draw a bunch of stereotypes.
Culturally sensitive friend.
That's right. That's me. But yeah, I've heard a number of different things about what the preference is. I've heard, I mean, people in Canada refer to them as First Nations. I think that's like a nice, I think that makes sense as a thing to call them, and it seems very dignified in my opinion, right? Like calling them like, because like, you know, First Nations is pretty accurate.
It's a very respectful term, I think.
It's accurate, it's respectful,
Giving
it's sort of
credit where it's due. Or, you know, it's kind of like I don't know. I'm sure it's like, you know, they're like, fuck you. Like, I don't care what you like. Oh, thank you for calling us like such a nice name.
But I've heard, I mean, my ex-girlfriend was half Cherokee, and she said that her family preferred to be called Indians, because they felt that the term Native and Native American was, you know, not like sort of had a negative connotation to it, which I can see that sort of when you think about like the word native, you sort of do like, I don't know, it can have like a negative connotation. I don't think I specifically think that way, but some people, I think when they think natives, they think like, yes, the rabble that were here before we came in.
It feels so maybe a touch like an other, even though like,
yeah,
you know, native people are still around. Feels like, yeah, feels like something like a history book rather than like people that are still living here.
But at the same time, that ex-girlfriend did lie to me about a lot of stuff, so I don't know if she was right. But it also seems to be like it's very like it's like a very individual basis, like what people prefer to be called. And I think that's you're just gonna run into somebody who wants to be called one way or another, and I think you just gotta sort of go with the culturally accepted term, and then fucking if someone says, hey, I don't like that word, just call them what they prefer, and then, you know, live your life.
Yeah, for sure. Just try to be sensitive where you can, and if you're corrected, you know, take that information.
Yeah.
Use it.
So who knows? Just try to be nice to people. Is all I can say. Just be nice to each other.
Changing the subject somewhat, unless
you have
more to say on that.
I don't.
What is your? I'm only saying this because I'm coloring a turkey now. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Probably sweet potatoes.
Okay, interesting.
Loves me some sweet potatoes.
I would say you're probably. I love sweet potatoes as well, but I would say you're probably like. It's probably not a very. I wouldn't say popular answer. I think everybody likes sweet potatoes, but I don't know if most people would say number one, sweet potatoes. Not that you have to be, you know, like the rest of the crowd. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I mean, I do like ham a lot too, but I think just going ham. You know, I like the sweet potatoes a lot.
What people in the chat? What are our favorite foods? I already see Belbo Rocket yelled out ham.
Oh, there it is.
Belbo Rocket, if you go to a Thanksgiving, there's not ham. Are you outraged? Because I feel like it's not a mandatory meal, but I do like to see it there. I like turkey. I know a lot of people don't like it because it's like they think it's dry, but I think that depends on how it's prepared. I think turkey, when it's prepared right, I'm a big fan.
I mean, you gotta like. That's the thing is a lot of people say they don't like turkey because it's flavorless, and it's just like, well, yeah, you probably eat flavorless turkey. Like you can make turkey taste delicious It's like a blank canvas. Like you just fucking put some spices and like cook it right, and you can have a delicious. I've had some amazing turkey.
It's like a big ass chicken, and then you just gotta prepare it differently.
Yeah.
I like me some turkey.
I like turkey. I do think turkey is frequently prepared in a way where it is flavorless and bland, but you know,
agreed.
Turkey that's done right is so good.
Crazy Kyle says, I like my turkey overcooked and sandy. Yum.
Tastes like sand.
Mom used to make. Yeah, if it's cooked right, I like it. I mean, for Thanksgiving, I'd rather have turkey than ham. Not because I necessarily think it's better, but just like the one time a year that I want to eat a turkey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Is there a cat like meowing off to the side?
Yes. Yes, there's a Peppa cat yelling here. She's still stuck in here at the moment. We're still acclimating her to the other cats because they fight.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
we've been having some issues with our cats and fighting as well. It's been quite frustrating.
We're hoping so in a week, in 8 days, you guys are coming here.
That is correct.
Xenoots, and Bell Rocket, and I'm really hoping we can get this cat thing somewhat sorted out by then, so that you're not, for those of you sleeping in this room, aren't sleeping with a stinky.
Hey,
loud cat.
I love stinky loud cats. I don't mind.
Well, you're in luck because we have 3 of them.
Yay! I mean, Theo and I we became tight the last time.
Oh yeah, Theo's great.
Theo loves me.
This one's great too, but they don't get along yet. Lowe's Clock says Thanksgiving is supposed to be a harvest celebration, but Americans made it about cowboys and Indians for some reason. Yeah, we're dummies. We do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
For me, I think now it's become one of those holidays that's just like transcended its original meaning or whatever. I don't know. For me now, it's just like I get to see family I like, and I get to eat food.
There's a lot of holidays.
Maybe I reflect a little bit and go like, hey, I got it pretty good. Maybe that's what I do on my Thanksgiving. You know?
There's a lot of holidays that learning about them in like school and stuff like that, it's like they would give you some fake fairy tale story about like what the origin of the holiday was, like, oh, and then the Pilgrims didn't murder the Native Americans, and they all sat down and had a lovely dinner because Squanto taught them how to plant corn and they didn't starve in the harsh winters of Jamestown. And like that story is for the most part bullshit because the Pilgrims just murdered the shit out of the Native Americans, and it was not a good situation in the long run. And thus that dinner probably didn't happen. Definitely not the way that they taught it in schools. But like as I grew up, like Christmas, Thanksgiving, all these different holidays, eventually sort of like all of that fairy tale bullshit sort of washed away, and as an adult now I'm just like, hey, it's an excuse to say hi to family, eat some food, and appreciate what I got. And that's like literally every holiday for me. Like, I mean, I'm not like religious, but we still celebrate Christmas because it's basically like a national holiday at this point. Like, you know, it's everywhere. It's an international holiday too. Like a lot of other places celebrate it. Fucking the first 2 Yakuza games take place during Christmas week, so like you walk around and all these different shops are playing Christmas music in Japan. But growing older as an adult, the holidays are basically all just an excuse to eat food with family and visit them if I haven't seen them in a while. Which is, you know, I can't complain. For me, that's the real purpose of a holiday, is to, you know, sort of appreciate what you got. Just a little bit of government mandated free time to appreciate life and your loved ones.
Real nice of them to give that to us.
Yeah. And if you work like a job that has government holidays, like a fucking bank or something like that, you get paid to eat on Thanksgiving.
It's pretty nice.
Great. Oh yeah. Love it.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. Bella Rock says she hates Christmas. I like Christmas. I don't know, but I mean, Same as Thanksgiving to me, though. Just the same idea. Hang out with people I like and eat and drink things I like.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole thing. So that's why I like that too.
Yeah, I like Thanksgiving, or I like Christmas. I don't think I get as crazy into it as a lot of people do. But I like Christmas. I enjoy the holidays in general. I think it's fun. I think fucking everyone overdoes them.
Yeah.
So it becomes really annoying, I think, a lot. So like, I mean, they've already been showing Christmas commercials since November started, and Thanksgiving hasn't even rolled around yet, and I'm just like, let the other holiday pass first before we move on to Christmas, for the love of God.
Right,
before you start showing me Santa Claus, like, at least get the turkeys out of the way. But, you know, I don't mind the Christmas tunes that play incessantly. Even if, you know, every so often you get that Paul McCartney one. It's fine.
Ugh,
I'll live with it.
God. We'll talk about it again this year, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But let's wait till after Thanksgiving. Yeah, bad one. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's fun. I used to be more into it than I am now. Not like I dislike it by any means now, but I used to feel a little more. I used to be a little hype.
Full of the holiday spirit.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say I'm like grinching out or like, you know, not like those happy feelings have been replaced with negative ones. It's just like I'm a little more like, I got shit to do. I can't be
like the holidays.
With Christmas.
Making plans for like travel plans, especially for the holidays, just means like, fuck, I gotta like figure my life out before I do this trip.
Yeah, that's true too. I think the stress is kind of taking away some of the fun because I'm like, I don't live near any of my family, so I have to be the one that bends to their plans.
Yeah. It used to really stress
I'm
me
the
out
only
too,
one,
because like
the only one that doesn't have weekends off, and I don't live near them, so I'm like, okay. They're like, all right, here's a list of Saturdays that we can have, and I'm like, great, those are the busiest days of the year for me. Let me see which one I can get off of work for.
Right. Gotta be a Saturday. But yeah, how do you, I mean, I guess it's too early to start talking about Christmas shit. Like, we can hold that conversation off for later. We've talked about the Turkey Day. What have you been playing?
I want to put my answer in real quick. I think stuffing.
Oh, for food? Have we not gotten your answer for a favorite food?
I never answered it. Went off the rails.
That's me. People ask me questions and I just go, all right, moving on. I've answered and moving on.
Well, no, I mean, I was kind of, I think, guiding the direction a little bit of the conversation, but I think it used to be mashed potatoes. I think I've finally decided that it's stuffing. I think stuffing's a little more consistently good.
Now,
and mashed potatoes, it's a hit or miss for people. Some people mess it up.
Do you follow like the stuffing advice of President Bartlett from The West Wing?
Can you remind me? It's like I forgot. Oh, I should just know.
There's like a Thanksgiving episode of The West Wing, and the entire episode is like the president is like asking his different staff members how they prepare their Thanksgiving turkey, and he's like he always wants to tell them like the safe, proper way to do it because he's got like the right answer, and but then like he says how he's planning on cooking his like turkey and the stuffing. And then I think the one staff member is like, you know, if you cook it like that, you gotta cook it extra hot because otherwise you risk food poisoning because the stuffing doesn't get hot enough if you cook it like that. And then he's like,
inside the turkey.
Yeah, and he's like, oh really? And then like the rest of the episode is like him asking all the staff members like, hey, do you think this would give food poisoning if I did it this way? It's a good episode.
Aaron Sorkin, you've done it again.
Aaron Sorkin. I do like The West Wing. It's a good show. I think it's a good show.
I've seen episodes. I haven't watched all of it. Maddie F. front of the show is a big fan.
Big fan. It's interesting to watch that show and be like, yes, imagining that the American government functioned. Crazy.
Or maybe, you know, some of the trash was a little more well hidden.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I mean, for the sake of that show, they like to imagine, like that show imagines a world where the United States government accomplished things.
Fictional.
Yeah.
Let's see. Lotus Fox says, "I love how the Redskin Bomb Man is on the Pilgrims team."
Yeah, I made that intentional choice. Because we were going to run out of bomb skin colors eventually, and I was like, okay, well, we're going to have to get to red at some point, and I'm going to avoid this fucking minefield right now.
Good move.
Thank you. Egan, you're culturally sensitive, white friend.
You should have that on the soundboard.
Just fucking jingles and stingers for us. Ian.
Dude, what do we got?
Have you
oh, go ahead.
Have you watched any television shows or movies?
No. No, I haven't watched anything in a second.
Oh, okay.
I know, I usually have, but this week I've been busy. I have not.
Are you busy with like an upcoming event or something like that?
Oh my god.
It's fucking like weird, bro.
Got a friggin' wedding in what, like 11 days? It's crazy.
That is kind of wild to think about.
Crazy.
It's gonna be so nice for you to like sit down and be like, oh my god, I don't have to plan for a fucking wedding anymore. Not that, I mean, you kind of had a couple of moments like that, you've told us, like, when we've chatted, but, you know.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good now. Things are mostly done, but I mean, we say that, but still, like, today we ran, like, errands for a couple hours, completing a few more things.
Of course.
So.
I just got my fucking flu shot because I was like, you know what?
Oh, nice.
I've actually never gotten my flu shot before.
Oh, you should always get it.
You should, I totally agree. In the past, I've been pretty bad about keeping up with like my not like I've been behind on any inoculations, like I'm good on tetanus and all that stuff, but like when it came to like the seasonal shots like flu, etc., I wasn't really ever very good about it, just cuz I don't know why. I don't have a reason. I remember I was at like a fucking Rite Aid and I was on tour with the band. We were like doing our little South tour, and the lady at the Rite Aid was like, hey, do you want to get a flu shot while you're here? And I was like, nah, I'm good. And she's like, you sure? Like, it's flu season right now. It's like it's a pretty bad flu season. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, there's really no reason not to get it. Some people think like, oh, you can get the flu from it, but it's not true. If you get the flu, it's not from that.
Yeah, you got the flu.
You got a different strain of flu.
Yeah.
The flu shot protects from a bad strain of flu, and if you get the flu, you got a different strain of flu that was not as bad.
Yeah. And you should, you do not want the flu. I've read horror stories about like people who had to get like lungs removed because of the flu. Shit like that.
It can kill you.
Yeah.
And it kills a lot of people every year.
Not to make a joke, but it's nothing to sneeze at.
But you did make a joke. Let's see, real quick. Xenu says, Izzy and I watched a movie last night. Her mom recommended it to us. It was pretty good. What is that? Also, Xenu says, Kitty, Brandon, what's that one's name? That's Peppa. That's the one we just got. She's stuck in this room with me because she fights with the other cats, and we're slowly, like, introducing them. But she doesn't want to be stuck in here, so she yells.
Does she ever eat a bunch of her food and you're like, you're such a pig, Peppa?
That hasn't happened yet, but we named her Peppa and then, like, you know, did all that stuff, and then somebody's like, oh, like the card, like the pig, and we're like, oh, damn it, that's right.
Now, the thing that jumped out to me is that when you say her name, you say it with like a Peppa.
Yeah.
Like the pig.
That's how it's legally spelled. But we have an H at the end.
Okay.
But her papers, she's Peppa. It started off as Pepper and then it devolved, I think.
Okay. And you decided to legally name her the devolved form of
sure did.
name.
sure did. But it's a cat, so you can call her whatever you want.
Yeah. The cat's not gonna be
We'll have
like,
to call it Peps.
this name sucks.
Call her the Peps.
Peps. But there's already a band with that name.
Oh no.
The Red Hot Chili Peps.
That's right there.
Called the Peps for short.
It says the movie was called The Devil. Very indie. It was about a Michael Cera knockoff who is bullied by life, and he meets a doppelganger who bullies him also. Huh.
At first I thought you said it was called The Devil. And I was like, huh. I know of a film called The Devils, which is really good.
The Devil.
Devil. The Devil.
Watch out for the devil. Tricky. That's so. When you say a Michael Cera knockoff, are you talking about Jesse Eisenberg?
I was thinking the same question in my head, and I was like, are they talking about like, or just like some other scrawny kid who has Michael Cera energy? I do love those. I love those fucking TikToks of the guy who's pretending to say like different movie lines, but like as like from different characters, but as different actors. So it's like Thanos, but he's Michael Cera. He's like, I will defeat you.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those with I can't think of his name, but the original Spider-Man.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
a popular one for those. Oh, it actually was Jesse Eisenberg, I think.
Oh no shit, that's saying. Hilarious.
That's great.
Jesse, you know, the thing is, at this point, Michael Cera isn't in a lot of stuff that I see. So doesn't that make Michael Cera the Jesse Eisenberg knockoff at this point?
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe.
It's a great question. One that I am not prepared to answer.
Wait. I feel like, didn't we watch a movie as like a gang? I mean, I guess we've just been doing the Fast and the Furious movies. That's about it.
We kind of taken a break for like a half week. It seems like radio silence.
People have been busy.
Right. I have been
guess.
busy. I get it. Nobody's been messaging like, anybody want to watch? So I would have had to say no a lot of those times. So it's kind of works out, but I'm just surprised. I didn't watch anything, but I beat God of War, the first one.
Oh, very nice.
I know it's been out for 4 years now, so you're probably saying like, "Jeez, what took you so long, eh?"
I mean, I haven't even played it yet, so.
What the hell took you so friggin' long, eh?
What the hell?
Well, I just, I didn't get around to it, and so now I finally played it. I liked it a lot. It's great. It's a good game. Story's good. It's pretty. Sound design's good. Gameplay's fun. They've made a God of War game that's, maybe somebody will disagree with me or be mad at me about this, but the story's kind of like, doesn't feel as stupid.
No, I think that's what everyone's been saying is the new God of War is like the stories are about growing up and maturing as an adult and like learning to sort of overcome. I mean, this is just what I've heard other people say, but it's like about overcoming like sort of your past sort of flaws and failures to sort of step up to the plate for, in his case, his son.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. I recommend it. The new one's out already too. I didn't buy it, but my brother and I share accounts, so I'm probably gonna start that one soon.
Nice.
Pick up where I left off. But yeah.
I heard the people have been saying good things about the new one too.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing as well. Sure, if it's anything like the first, it will be, enjoyed.
Yeah.
Leviathan Den says, I'm playing Ragnarok as we speak. So there you go. What do you think so far, Leviathan Den? So there's a debate going on about Jesse Eisenberg and Michael Cera.
About like why they're considered so similar.
I think they're trying to get to the bottom of who's the superior scrawny kid with fluffy brown hair. Jesse Eisenberg is more handsome, so he's the more quality brand of Hollywood squirrely white guy.
I think Michael Cera is. I think Jesse Eisenberg takes on a lot of roles that demand him to be a charismatic and cool character, and I just don't think I've ever seen him do that, and I've been like, yeah, you nailed it. Not that I've seen every movie of his, but I've seen him in a number of roles where I'm like, he's supposed to be like the charismatic one. I'm sorry, I don't see that. And I've seen him as like Lex Luthor. Like I haven't seen the whole movie, but I've seen like clips of him being Lex Luthor, and I'm just like, he's so squirrely.
I think also I think Michael Cera comes off a little more wholesome, and Jesse Eisenberg's, and maybe it's based on his roles, but he often seems kind of like a dick. You know, I don't claim to know these people. You know, Michael Cera might be a huge asshole, and Jesse Eisenberg might be the nicest guy you'd ever meet. I don't know, but based on either how they carry themselves in like interviews or their roles or something. Michael Cera seems more like somebody I'd want to hang out with.
Right.
Who cares about that ultimately?
He's a movie star you can have a beer with. I'd vote for him.
It's dumb, but it's one of those things that I think is in everybody's brain with every celebrity, whether it's like a reasonable thing to think or not. I don't know. Like
I think
you make an opinion of them as a person, even though you have nothing to base it on, really.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it is us trying to sort of be able to read like this person from their actions, even though like we're watching them basically like fake being another person, which is an interest. Like, sure. I mean, we do have like interviews with them and that we could watch. Not that I ever give enough of a shit to fucking watch a celebrity interview, but I don't know.
Yeah, and it seems dumb to actually like base opinions on people you've never met based on like some 30-second interview answering the dumbest questions you've ever heard in a little room after they like rapid fire like talking to these people all day long. Like it's dumb. It's dumb. I shouldn't have an opinion. I don't know.
I mean, but at the same time, I mean, when you see these people, and if you see like Jesse Eisenberg, it's like I can't really see Kevin Spacey as a relatable or sympathetic main character anymore, because I know that Kevin Spacey is a monster in real life, and so that sort of in like if I ever see a thing with Kevin Spacey and he's like trying to act all sincere, in my head I'm just gonna see past the like I just see the mask, I see what's underneath the mask, and I'm just like, okay, but you're a monster though, right? Like we all know that you're a monster. You can do your Frank Underwood voice all you want, but Frank Underwood was also a monster, so I mean, that was your most fitting role.
It's true. Good point. Leviathan Dunn says, God of War is fantastic on the PS5. Should have a really nice TV to appreciate it. Nice. I mean, the last one looked good, and I mean, I played it on PS4 and it looked good, so I'm sure it looks great on the newest systems.
You know, there's a lot of games I gotta catch up on. I got to fucking Jartown in Elden Ring today.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Look, it's a bunch of.
How are you feeling about Elden Ring these days? You liking it?
I think I can gauge how far I am from beating it. If the map that I have is the full map, like minus like the sections that obviously I haven't collected the map pieces for yet, but if like the area that I'm looking at is correct, I've completed about like half of Elden Ring, maybe 2/3, because I've kicked the shit out of a bunch of bosses. I killed like 3 dragons yesterday.
Nice.
But like I'm like there's that like Liurnia up the left side. and then there's Caelid, and then there's clearly going to be a big ass landmass of like the palace or whatever, the Erd Tree Palace capital, whatever place, like up center middle top. And I'm like crept most of the way up the left side. I've crept a good amount of the way up the right side of Caelid, although I haven't gone super actual deep into Caelid, but I've sort of been around the boundaries of Caelid. I think I got about halfway. I might have like two
under areas too, though. You've had to have been in some underground areas.
I've explored the entirety of Siofra. There is actually a boss I need to go back to kill there. He was really strong, but there's like a big dragon. I should go back down there and kill that.
You know, there's probably still some under map that you haven't experienced yet.
Yeah, I mean, I've just found Siofra. That's the only part of the undermap, but I've explored the entirety of Siofra. That I made aside from killing that one dragon, that's gonna give me some sort of Ash of War once I kill it, or a Dragon Heart probably. Everything else has been explored in Siofra specifically. Like I've traveled from that well all the way to like where it comes back up in Caelid. But if there's more underground, I haven't found it yet. But you know, haven't seen it.
Gotcha. Real quick. Zenut says, Jarburg, so quaint. And then Belba Rocket says, is the leader of Jarburg the Jarl? And so, how do we ban people? Do you know?
Well, if you click that little clock next to Belbel Rocket's name, it says timeout, and I think you select a button from there.
Okay. Good to know. How do you feel about this drawing, Ian?
I'm emotionally done with it.
Like that's the default answer.
That's cool. Me with every I've just to real quick before we go on break, I've noticed there's a couple of things that I've made recently where I'm 95% done with it. It's that last 5% I really struggle with, and I'm just fuck it, it's done. I don't care anymore.
For sure. Because I feel like for me the last 5% of a piece, you've been working on it a while then at that point, usually, you know, within context, and then at the end I'm usually looking for the tedious things to all right, that looks a little off, I'm gonna fix that looks a little off, or something or just little touch-ups, and that part's not fun. You've gotten to the least fun part. Arguably I think I have the most fun with the sketching, the very first step, because you're being your most creative
creation.
Yeah, you're just coming up with it, and you're starting with nothing, and you finally have an image, and you're all right, I like this. Then I don't know, I think I like line work next best. Coloring I like a little
Do you
less.
like it in order?
I don't know. I guess I like it in order.
Yeah.
I mean, I will sometimes go back and forth between line work and coloring. Coloring gets a little tedious, but it does make the thing come to life, so it's really satisfying.
I tend to oscillate between if I enjoy sketching or line art more, because the sketching is it's the creation, it's sort of figuring things out, it's a lot of blocking and shapes, and that part's really fun, and it's very free form, and it's the one where your mind is least structured in that sort of sense. But I do enjoy doing line art, because if I did a good enough sketch, I enjoy the line art, because then that's just it's sort of just me going in and making sure it looks good, you know, and adding in all those touches, and I can sort of do it absent-mindedly, so I could have the Golden Girls on the other screen or something like that as I'm doing it.
I was just gonna say line art is the most meditative part of the process, because you're just putting in those clean lines that look nice.
Yeah,
just kind of, it's almost like a paint by numbers at that point, even though it's your own creation.
Yeah,
you're just following the directions that you set down for yourself.
Yeah, I'm just let's put out a fucking funny show. Let's get some lights done. All right, bro.
Yeah,
and that's the process.
That's fair.
Yeah. Well, shit. Look at this. I think this
football game.
The first football. I think we did this. I think we did this drawing as least offensively as we were capable of doing.
I think the only one that might be offended are turkeys.
Yeah, that turkey is being abused.
We just kicked a corpse of a turkey.
Well, we got an angry turkey there, and I like how you made him the referee, because I was thinking there needs to be a ref, and it needs to be a third party. The turkey's a good choice.
Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it. It's between that and a pile of sentient mashed potatoes. I think I made the right choice.
I think you did too, yeah. In the meantime, we'll go on break, I guess, for a little bit, and then we'll get ourselves some waders.
Be back in a couple minutes.
We'll be back.
Sounds great.
Mate.
Explain what we're doing.
We are back, I want to say. I think we're back.
Good to be back.
It's good to be back. Okay. I have my microphone specifically blocking. So what we're going to do, folks, is we had an idea for a game. There's a new Pokemon game out. And it is fun to sort of draw Pokemon, like your own style of Pokemon. Or just, you know, get wild with the Pokemons. Just really, like, have fun with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these... We haven't quite hammered out the details, but what we're going to do is we're going to take these new Pokemon and either... And sort of describe them to each other. These Pokemon we haven't seen yet.
What should be the descriptors? The type? Like maybe the type?
I think definitely like the element types.
Yeah.
And then I think you should... Oh, this one's super cute. I looked at the picture. This one's adorable. This might be my new favorite Pokemon. Yeah, describe definitely like the Pokemon types, and then I don't know, just use like a vague descriptor. Be like, it's a fucking, it's kind of like this, you know, but this. I don't know how to like.
Okay.
Like, but without saying
the exact same exact things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep
so
it vague.
for instance, I'm gonna look at this one.
There's one I was gonna do, but I feel like there's no way to describe it without just saying what it is. So I'm gonna keep looking.
I think I have one. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So it's a fairy type Pokemon, and it's a dog, but it's also mixed with like pastries.
Okay, I'll write this down. Fairy, dog, pastry. I like that. That's a good combination.
He's looking at Izzy says, I bet he's looking at the cat. No, but the cat is definitely the starter that I would pick. I did watch I watched 100%. Moist Critical play the new Pokemon for a little bit. I would definitely pick the cat as my starter, but no, it's this one. I'll just say the name of the Pokemon that I was looking at.
Everybody else can look it up. I won't.
It's called Smoliv. It's just like a little sentient olive. It's just got eyes and like feet, but it's an olive.
Oh wait, did you just tell me what it is?
Yeah, but that's not your Pokemon.
Yeah, mine's a pastry one. Okay.
Yeah. It's called Smoliv. It's a grass type, but it's like a little tiny sentient olive with eyes. It's really cute.
All right. Let's see here. Sorry, I should just pick one instead of. I'm gonna go with my original.
Okay.
My original choice. Okay, so it's a water type Pokemon.
That one's like.
And. There's no good way to describe it. It's not without just saying what it is. Give me a second. I'm gonna pick something else. I'm sorry. This was my idea and I'm not even ready. How embarrassing for me.
I don't think this one is new, says Balbo. I don't know what to tell you. I looked up a Wikipedia article, or I looked up an article that said the new Pokemon in the new game. So like a lot of them did look like they're doing now old Pokemon, but it's like a different region, so it's like a different species of the same, which I think is a great idea, actually, having like different species of the same Pokemon.
Okay.
But some of the ones I saw were that, but all right, go ahead.
It is a psychic type.
Wait, is it not water anymore?
No, it's a different. I'm doing a different one.
Okay.
The other one, there's no way to describe it.
What was it called? While I'm curious now what you were gonna give me.
I'll tell you that in a second. I don't have it up in front of me anymore, and I don't remember.
Boy.
Okay, so this one is psychic.
Okay.
Flightless bird. Andy Warhol.
Okay. It's funny because you're accurately describing a Pokemon right now, and that's very funny. But when I think of Andy Warhol, all I can see is fucking Frank Reynolds from It's Always Sunny.
What was his name in that? Can't remember.
Oh god, yeah, I don't remember at all.
The one that I was gonna do was Don Dozo, and it's like a big blue catfish, but I don't know how to describe it besides fish or catfish.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's like its only defining
it's kind of
quality.
like a catfish, but also like the anime caricature of like the head of a Yakuza crime family.
There you go. I didn't think about that, but you're right.
Every anime
got
that
kind of like
has...
a blobfish face.
He is very blobfish. It's like a catfish mixed with a blobfish mixed with like the fat Yakuza crime boss caricature in an anime. And he's always got like the big lips, like these like big. That's like the anime caricature I always remember is the fat guy with big lips. That's sort of like a type you always get in anime.
I'm gonna draw this like I've been hired to design a new Pokemon. I'm gonna really try to make this look like a Pokemon.
Are you gonna try and like mimic their style?
Maybe not completely. I mean, no. I'll still kind of do my style, but I might try to do like something that might actually exist.
Okay.
Not that you have to also do that. I'm just saying.
Oh no, I'm gonna do an underdrawing so it's slightly better than my normal sketches.
I should do that more often on here.
I just don't think my drawings end up very nice if I don't do an under. I think I'm very reliant on under drawings.
I normally am. I don't do any commissions just like, you know, like without a sketch or an underdrawing.
Yeah, but I mean, when you do a drawing without, like you're drawing without an underdrawing right now, and I think it's looks good. I mean, I know how it's probably going to turn out, and it's going to turn out looking good still. Mine just end up having like a sort of less refined quality to them, but it might just be because I drew it, and so my mind is interpreting the way it sort of looks as a finished product differently. Don't
We
quite
are our
know.
biggest critics.
It's true. Because we've looked at it the longest, so we know every and like any mistake that it's been made, we've noticed, and we
also know what we're capable of more than anyone. So we're like, this, you know, you make something, you're like, well, this is not my best.
Or it maybe not even like what you're capable of, but like in your head, what you had in mind, and you're like, it's not that.
Oh yeah, that's probably more accurate.
Oh hey, Neo GFX says to hydrate. Welcome back, Neo GFX. Thanks for joining us again. I appreciate seeing you.
Good to
Technically, their full name is
you.
Neo GFX1. I hydrated, Brandon. Have you?
No, but I will. See?
There we go. I didn't zoom in on me drinking, but you know.
It's good. Now people know that I wasn't faking it. Like, whoa, is there anything in that cup?
Whoa. Was he really drinking water? Just call me Neo. Alright. Neo it is. Sometimes I will give users in the chat my own interpretation of their name, and that's what I'll stick with. Like Spwanif, who, I don't know how you're supposed to read Spwanif's name, but I call them Spwanif because it's funny.
I like that.
Where you been? You have not streamed in a little bit. I haven't streamed in exactly since Friday, and it was just a busy weekend, and I got tired, so I go to bed early.
You were giving thanks.
I was giving thanks with some fam, so I went to bed early because it was tiring, and that's where I've been. I might stream Subnautica for a couple hours tonight. I've been considering it. I do have a lot of work to do, but at the same time, I should take a break.
How's that been coming along, Subnautica?
It's been coming along well. I finally built the big robot that can like drill the big stacks of mineral.
Whoa, you've gone beyond me. I never got to that.
Yeah, I also increased the diving capacity of my one ship to like its full power. So I think the next time I play it, I'm gonna really explore some deep depths. But I think I need to like get some missiles made first, so I can like not murder the monsters in the deep, but like distract them so that they don't kill me. Because there's like a fucking psychic spider of some kind that I ran into, and I'm like, oh, this is bad.
Oh, your favorite type of character.
Yeah, so good.
Spiders. Think of some kind of like tail that would be pastry like. Pokemon are sometimes clever if they're trying to like be a specific like play on, like it's meant to look like a pastry.
Yeah.
I might rework some parts of this guy.
Oh, you know what? I was going way too hard into the Danny DeVito. I just looked up a picture of Andy Warhol. Gonna tone it down just a little bit. There we go. I got that the other day, and the sub. Oh, nice. Neo's been playing as well. I built the big submarine, not too long ago. Although it's so big.
Like the Leviathan or something like that.
Called the Cyclops, I believe.
Oh, mm-hmm. You're right.
But it's big. But I did find that I was actually able to build like that little fabricator that you can make objects. I was able to like put it on one of the walls inside the submarine, which is huge. Very convenient.
I like the idea of it, but it seems like it'd be difficult to drive around.
It's pretty unwieldy. I haven't really found a situation like I have the little robot mech stashed in it because that's like a little bit less maneuverable than the submarine, but like the submarine's pretty, like I haven't really found a reason to go on, like I've already sort of found
like a base that you can just take with you.
Yeah, it's a portable base. Yeah, and it's interesting because like I've already sort of found the edges of the map. So I'm kind of like, okay, well it's not a huge map. It's like I can sort of travel from one end to the other in my little putt like sea vessel. So like I gotta like find a good. I could see myself parking this Cyclops or this submarine base. Yeah, Cyclops, in a strategically advantageous spot, but like never really moving it. I don't know.
What about like, yeah, that makes sense. Would it be useful in like for like having a base deep?
I don't know.
Did you not get it that
it goes pretty deep. It goes like I think it goes as deep as the oh no, it goes pretty deep, but not as deep as it could, but I can upgrade the depth. And I can't say for certain. I mean, probably I can see that sort of, but it's also it's harder. It's just hard to maneuver, and like getting deeper, the narrows become narrower, and so on and so forth. It's tough. I don't know. I'll have to play it by ear. I'm sort of at the point with the game where I'm like, I'm ready to finish it. I feel like I've sort of gotten what I want out of it, or what I'm gonna get out of it.
I usually end up putting them down before I beat them, unfortunately. I like, and you know me, I love that style of game. Play a lot of them, but I rarely finish them.
Yeah, I mean, they're hard games to finish because they're sort of meant to waste time for a lot of it. And that can be sort of hard to justify after you've played it for its... A
lot of times the end stretch of those games, you're kind of like...
Yeah.
Seeing what there is to see, and I'm kind of like strong now. So it's just kind of a little more tedious.
Yeah, I'm sort of at a point where until like I've dived down to about 500 feet. And if I go any deeper, it's going to be like more dangerous monsters, but I sort of have seen a good amount of the game, So I'm sort of at this point where for me to progress, I have to start making some crazy shit that's going to take a lot of resources, so I got to grind resources for a while, and that's my least favorite stage is the resource grind. That's the part that like I could do away with in you know what I would love out of an open world survival craft game is sort of a system like in StarCraft. Neo says, "Oh no, there is much more you will want." Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. But what was that? Oh yeah. In StarCraft, you would find like a rock of minerals. There was two resources in StarCraft: minerals and then gas. And you would find like a geyser for the gas, and you'd find a outcropping of minerals. And then you'd send some guy to mine that shit, and like for the next 10 minutes, he would just mine that, and you would steadily see that number rise up. And I want that, like how Satisfactory does it. Like I want that instead of having to fucking, like, oh no, I'm out of quartz. I gotta go find some more quartz on the ground. Like fuck that, man. I hate that shit. Yeah, and that's where I start getting the tedium of the survival craft starts to make me decide to stop playing it. So thankfully I got that big robot that can, scoop out the big outcroppings of rocks, because that's at least a better solution. What's your favorite?
Kind of want more cake than pastry, but I'm still liking this rock.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely. I mean, a cupcake is a type of pastry.
Is it? I didn't know if all baked goods counted as pastry.
I don't quite know.
Oh,
I gotta tell you though, it's because of the type of pastry or baked good, confection, I don't know, what have you, that you went with. Your end result is gonna look very different than the Pokemon that you are.
Yeah, I bet.
But it also, yours feels like when I look at the two and I see that it's a fairy type, yours strikes me as more fairy type than the other one. But if I were to give you the name of the Pokemon, the other one looks closer to its name. So it's like sort of that cross section.
Excited to see what this would look like.
And I'm just sort of I'm gonna finish up the line art of this guy. And then I'm gonna do the colors.
Zay said, I need the fairy dog as a print for my gaming room. Do that for you. I can do like, I mean, you can just, sketch, but I could make it nicer if you're interested. Oh, Bellrock says, that's so good. Oh, thank you. I should come up with a fake name for this guy too, right?
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's the fun part of the game.
Because then, will it be funny to compare to the actual Pokemon? Like,
yeah, because nobody will get close.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the names are like not clever or anything. They're just a weird gibberish thing. Like,
I mean,
like yours, when you get it, you're not gonna be like, oh, I see why it's named that.
Oh, okay. There have been some that have been more clever than others, and some are just like weird pop culture references. Like the difference between Hitmonchan.
I know what this guy's name is.
The difference between Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee is weird because Hitmonchan just punches and Hitmonlee kicks, and that's fair. Hitmonlee is a good kicker, but it's not. He ain't just a kicker. And Jackie Chan's strength is not in his punches quite necessarily, but those are the names that they.
It's true. I like those names though.
I do like those names too. I like those Pokemon.
My Pokemon is called Pupcake.
Nice. That was actually mentioned in the chat earlier. Somebody.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, well, Xenoots.
I'll give Xenoots. You get the you get the credit, but I didn't see it still.
I started coloring on the underdrawing layer, so I'm just gonna delete the fucking underdrawing. And so mine's a penguin. It's not a penguin necessarily, but it's a flightless bird.
No, just a flightless bird.
So I'm trying to think of what my name would be as I color this, and I have an idea or two.
I'm gonna put in the chat. Actually, no, I don't want to put the name of it yet because I want you to come up with your own name.
Okay. And then we'll paste, get like a copy.
Yeah,
onto your
I'll get
clipboard.
it. Already got it.
Yeah, there you go. You can just paste them on the title layer so we don't fuck with the drawings. I think. I'm trying to think of. Okay, so Andy Warhol made pop art.
Close your eyes.
Also, sometimes it was pretty avant-garde. Did the banana painting. He did the soup cans. He did that video that's just 8 hours of a building. Say a lot more about Andy Warhol, to be quite honest. I didn't ever read about who he hung out with. I think he like hung out with Frida Kahlo once, maybe.
He was hanging out with. He was like a kind of celebrity at the time, so he was hanging out with like all musicians and shit.
But he was also hanging out with like all the famous artists of the time. Like I do think he hung out with Frida Kahlo at least once, potentially. I'd be surprised if he didn't.
I mean, he's a pop artist, so it makes sense. But he was like hanging out in the pop culture scene a lot more than like the average artists do these days. Like or ever.
Well, he was like a celebrity artist. Like no artist has been a celebrity before or since.
At least not in the same way. I wouldn't say. There's probably some that have been like broken that wall, but
yeah, but not like how Andy Warhol was.
I like his little tie.
I'd say artists go a lot less appreciated nowadays, at least in the larger sphere, corporate sphere.
Ian, if Pupcake walked up to you, would you eat him?
No, God no.
Okay, good.
How big is it?
Bite size.
It's a little tiny bite-sized dog.
Size of Cupcake. I don't know. It's probably that's weird. It's probably got to be the size of like a.
This thing's gonna suck in Pokemon battles, man. It might as well be a. It might as well be a bug.
Let's make it like the size. I want it to be the size of like a bulldog. It's the size of a bulldog. I'm changing.
Okay. Okay. Then I would have a harder time eating Pupcake.
Yeah. Unfortunately, its body is the consistency of cake. So like, if you bump into it or like. If you accidentally gets in front of you, you step on it, you just step right through Pupcake. Oof. That's tragic. Neo GFX says yes, they would eat Pupcake. They are funfetti flavored, in case you were wondering.
Oh, I mean that does sweeten the deal.
Is that fun?
I don't know. All right, I would say I'm done. I'm gonna name this fucking thing now.
Before we reveal I'll let you name it first, and then after that, we should drop the real names, and then we'll post the pictures.
All right.
Whoa. Oh, okay. All right. I like that. Yeah. Gamble Emperor. Nice. Belba Rock says funfetti is just pretty vanilla. It's true.
It's true.
It's just melted sprinkles, and sprinkles don't really add any flavor. They're just sugar, right?
Sort of like how red velvet's just sort of glorified in food-colored chocolate.
Yeah, I think it's the frosting that makes red velvet more exciting. Okay, here's the true name of your beast. I'm gonna write it down before I post a picture of it.
Okay.
Like I said, this one is a nonsense one unless I don't get it. Espathra. That's the name of your creature. Let me show you the picture. Now that I'm looking at it, it's almost more the Danny DeVito hair than the actual Andy one.
Oh boy.
But
Espathra.
That one's not good. Let me put it in title.
Huh?
Title?
Yeah, I put mine in title, so you can put yours in title or title too. That is totally the Danny DeVito hair. You know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
Give me a sec.
Were you more leaning towards Fido or Dashbun, which are both fantastic names, by the way. Good job, Game Freak.
Yeah, those are good.
Make a buggy ass game these days, but that's a good character design.
Well, the thing is, I was kind of going right down the middle of them. I mean, they're both.
Yeah, I guess no wrong answers. They're both check all the boxes.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the name. Oh yeah, there it is.
Fido and Dashbun.
Yours, the one you posted. I mean, not the hair, but just the vibe. Reminds me of this character from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Oh,
weird.
Right, the one I posted. I thought you were talking about my dog or something. I was like, what?
Oh, no. My
yeah, there's something about this bird. I don't know. Just the hair gave me some fun vibes. So that's why I picked it.
Warhol vibes.
All right. Well.
All right. Another one?
Not bad. Sure. Let me save this though.
All right. I'm not gonna do an underdrawing for this next one.
Okay. Up to you.
This one's hilarious. This one's like a weird.
It's ugly. The psychic turkey. It is an ugly Pokemon. I didn't pick it because I thought it was like the best design. I just thought the hair was funny.
It's like, it's got like striped socks for its neck and legs, and then it's got two hearts, two anatomically almost correct human hearts as wings that are
it's
orange.
Like a turkey
also.
ostrich with stupid haircut. I don't like the colors. I don't know. All right. Well, that was good. We can clear this now.
Okay, I think I've got.
I have to pick another one too.
Yeah.
Did you find a website that has all the new ones? Because I found one that has like big pictures and everything, but I think we're on the same page actually.
Yeah, is it sarahb.net?
No, but that's a good one too. I don't know. Whatever. Either way is fine.
Okay.
All right, let me find something here. Some of them are just like too straightforward. I want something that's a little more obscure that I can give you like last one where I give you like some weird clues.
Yeah.
This is one that's a cool design, but it's just like that's just a big crab.
This one's interesting. Okay.
Found yours?
Yeah, I think I found mine. Oh, it's right. I'm not gonna say it, but. Yo, you know what the Espathra is supposed to be Cleopatra.
Okay, there it is. We figured it out.
Because in French, its name is Cleocitra.
Oh, damn! I love this character design. This is. It's another one that I have a hard time explaining with any, like, it's very straightforward, but it's a good design. So I might pick something a little weirder, and then I'll tell you what I was looking at after.
Huh.
Okay, I'm gonna pick. All right, I think I'm ready.
Alrighty.
Do you want me to tell you mine first?
Yes.
All right. All right, it's a ghost type.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a hermit crab meets storage. I don't know if I give you too much clues or not enough. I'm trying to keep it vague. So if I just straight up
storage,
describe it.
I think I have an idea for it.
Ghost.
I'm ready. Ghost.
All right. What's mine?
So, your Pokemon. It's normal and psychic type. It's a pretty normal. It's a pretty normal one, but it's, you know, it's psychic also, and it's a giraffe. No, but it's a giraffe, but it's wearing like a dead mouse mask, but of a giraffe.
I've seen that one though, because it's a evolution of a. Is it the one? Is its tail have a face on it?
I don't know. Does it?
I don't know. If it's the one I'm thinking of, that's one of the ones that kind of like was on like the art.
You know what? Yeah. Okay. So the pre-evolution version of the one that I'm looking at, like the one that it evolves from.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Has like a chain chomp for a tail.
Now he has the chain chomp. His head is inside of it.
Sort of. Yeah. I was thinking of it more like a dead mouse mask, but of a giraffe.
Okay. Gotcha.
But, I mean, you know what it looks like, so I gotta pick a different one. So
that's not a good one.
You've ruined it.
So sorry.
Okay.
In the meantime, you got it already. Okay, perfect.
It's so it's bug type.
Okay.
And it's a spider, but it's an Italian chef wearing a tank top.
I like this. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Let's go.
It's kind of like if Bob from Bob's Burgers was a spider, but with a tank top.
All right, good to know.
Yeah. All right.
I could have been more specific with mine. I just made it
somewhat
vague. I feel like some things are... Can I change one thing before you go further?
Oh, but I had an idea in my head already.
Go ahead then. Go ahead. It doesn't matter ultimately how accurate my original thing was. Right? I just... realizing part of it was kind of wrong, but it's okay. I want to see what you came up with.
Oh, but it's going to be inaccurate?
I mean, they all are. It's not wrong, the thing I said, but there was a better way I could have described it that wouldn't have thrown you in a different direction. Just go with what you're gonna go with what you're gonna do. It's cool. It's fine.
So I've been experiencing this interesting phenomena where YouTube has started to recommend like music playlists to me, like video mixes, like just like 1 hour of like 12 or 30 different songs, you know, all just sort of arranged. Sometimes they're given like those YouTube chapters so that you can sort of like scan to which songs you want. I think it started because I was listening to those drift funk mixes, but I started getting them for other genres now. So I would say I get 3 main recommendations for type of music mixes I get, and they are or different types of funk. A lot of times they just say night funk or drift funk, vaporwave, or what they've been like the videos have been titled as are Sci-Fi Space Elevator Lounge.
Whoa.
Or it's like
when
a
people who like know their genres make some weird, like totally like crazy obscure genre.
It's like 50s elevator, 50s sci-fi like lounge music is sort of like the vibe or whatever. So it's like, basically what it is they take fucking elevator music that you would, or like Muzak, like, you know, just, you know, weird sort of jazz songs, maybe like a Latin influence, but they'll take out like the top frequencies and the very bottom frequencies, so it's all sort of like middle range. Like you don't get the high end and you don't get like the low end, so it's sort of like they've like cut out basically like, so it sounds like you're hearing it through like a can almost. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
And I enjoy it.
You'll have to recommend some to me, because I'm not going to go out there trying to find that on my own.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I have a playlist of, like, what I've been doing is I'm like, okay, YouTube, find me some good music. So I've started a playlist, and if I just find a video or, like, a mix of songs that I enjoy, I'll add it to the playlist.
You should just add me to that. So I can listen.
Yeah, I'll post a link to the playlist somewhere. But yeah, a lot of good drift funk, a lot of good vaporwave, a lot of good
I like vaporwave.
Elevator. Yeah, vaporwave's I've been super into vaporwave as of late. I haven't been sure whether to call what I've been listening to synthwave or vaporwave, but then I've been watching some videos on like sound design, like how to make certain synths like from scratch. And when I looked up synthwave, it was a very different vibe from what I've been listening to. So I would say I've been listening to vaporwave, or I don't know, because vaporwave is also very categorized by being quote-unquote plunderphonics, which is where it's like made of samples and things like that, but like the samples, but like heavily sample based, where it's like you're almost not doing a lot with the sample aside from looping it.
Yeah.
So there's like very like subgenres of vaporwave where it's like some of it's more original creations instead of taken from samples, and some of it's like sample based. So I think the mixes I've been listening to on YouTube are primarily sample based, but like when I listen to Windows 96, like that's sort of vaporwave, but that's not strictly sample based. I think a lot of those are actually original compositions, sort of recreating that vibe. So it's like vaporwave, but it's not. It's like a different kind of vaporwave. I don't know. That shit's fucking confusing sometimes, man.
I like to think that the people who are labeling these things are going through the same conflict that you're feeling right now.
Yeah.
What do we call this, man?
What do you call it? Because like synthwave is what Plead the Filth made for our theme song, you know, where it's like, it sounds like it's like cyberpunk, but yeah. Vaporwave is like specifically like fucking like original Ghost in the Shell vibes, like what they thought cyberpunk was going to be like in the 80s, you know?
Gotcha.
So it's,
I guess I don't claim to know anything. I just go by what some of the stuff I listen to says it's called. I'm not one to be like, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I will sometimes sort of naysay somebody's like
sure, but you know more than I do about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but do I? Did any of this instill confidence in like my ability to be like this?
I mean, bad. I just said I like vaporwave, but then you said describe it. I'd be like, I don't know. It's labeled that way sometimes when I'm listening to it and liking it. I don't know if I could describe it.
Can I ask you something? And this is based on a debate that I had with Crazy Kyle in the chat.
I'll do my best, but if it's about things we're talking about, I might not be able to answer very well.
How would you categorize Green Day?
It's
especially like later albums, like as they progressed, like towards American Idiot era.
I would describe it as pop punk.
Okay.
So like they're like the like catchy version of punk, when punk is kind of like, I think punk's whole like thing is supposed to be like, it's good music, but it's not like, it might be like a little like, it's kind of based around like conflict or like going against the grain or something like that, or like,
yeah,
you know, anarchy, all that. But then like Green Day's like punk that everyone can enjoy. It's like how you know, Kids Bop might take a song that's like not good for children and make it good for children. Green Day makes punk good for general audiences. It's like pop punk, catchy punk. I don't think it's really fits under punk at all, but they claim they're punk. So
interesting. Now, I'm not using this as ammo against Crazy Kyle, but when what started this argument was Crazy Kyle. Excuse me. I gotta stop eating those Skittles like I am, or not Skittles. They are M&Ms, but Crazy Kyle and I we're talking. They're very different candies. Yeah, visuals. Also, I just had a bag of Skittles like earlier in the week, and now I'm eating a bag of M&Ms because I've been feeding my sweet tooth. But when I was talking to Crazy Kyle and we were having that argument, it started because he categorized Green Day as punk, and I was like, no.
They categorize himself as punk,
but
so I'm not totally like on his case for saying that. But
yeah,
I don't agree.
I sort of leaned the way originally. I leaned the way that you said, where I was like pop punk, but emphasis on the pop more so than the punk.
Exactly. I totally agree with that part.
And I know Crazy Kyle didn't completely agree to my sort of lessening of the punk aspect of the band, and I haven't come to an official like decision on what I agree with, nor do I think I need to. Honestly, I'm totally. There are some things I'm just completely okay with not having a definitive answer on, and just being like, I don't know. Maybe I'll never, like, there are some, like, I don't know, sometimes I just don't need to have an answer. So for me, it's like, is Green Day, like, punk? I don't know. And, I haven't...
I mean, you could say that certain genres change over time. Maybe it's, like, some kind of newer age punk. It's not, certainly, Green Day certainly is not, like, comparable to what punk was when it was created.
Absolutely not, no.
And I think that's why our conflict comes.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting too because the soundtrack for what's it called? Total Overdrive or Sunset Overdrive. Like, that's a soundtrack that's really going for like that sort of more classic punk vibe.
Yeah.
But I also have a hard time categorizing that album as punk because all of the songs were made for the video game, which means everyone was getting paid by a corporation to make those songs. So like I almost have a hard time, like, even though I like the way those songs, I actually like those songs a lot. I think it's a very fun soundtrack, and it's got like, when I listen to punk, that's like the sound I'm kind of like, I wouldn't mind going chunkier and like grittier.
I'm sure like, the Sex Pistols and the Misfits and all of them all got their bag.
Oh, I mean, the Sex Pistols were completely, the Sex Pistols were corporate from the start, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
One of them.
I don't know punk history really.
I know a little bit. When I was browsing Reddit more, I stopped browsing Reddit because I just got not like annoyed by it. I just like one day I didn't go back to Reddit, and then I just didn't see any reason, or I didn't feel the urge to like go back.
You have a healthy relationship with social media.
Thank God.
Because I still like surf it all, and I wish I wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, my mental health has improved dramatically since I stopped going on social media. Entirely, just about. I go on Instagram still, but like, my relationship with Instagram is, I don't know, but it's better than most social media. I mostly just look at art.
Elon Musk may have hundreds of billions of dollars more than you, but one thing he doesn't have is the ability to not give a fuck about Twitter like you.
Yeah.
And he'll never not have that. He can't. It's his greatest weakness.
He will never know
that
the love
was true before he owned it, you know? It's true
Yeah.
before he owned it. So you could argue like, oh, he owns it, he should care. But I'm like, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like wanting to be loved on Twitter, not running Twitter well.
No, I mean, if I had the money that Elon Musk has, I would never give enough of a shit to buy Twitter.
Dude, people wouldn't even know my name. I'd be fucking doing what I want to do every day until I die. I wouldn't be like trying to get popular.
Yeah. Elon Musk never got loved by his family, so he.
Elon Musk is the example of like when they say like money can't buy happiness, and it's like, what? Yes, it can. It's like, no, if you're like craving like the world loving you, and that's what you want to do with your money, then yeah, it can't buy that.
Yeah.
But if you just want to be like a normal person and just enjoy yourself, and buy all that.
Yeah. Yeah, money definitely doesn't fucking buy happiness, that is for sure. I mean, it buys a lot of it if you have I don't know, your brain's
99.9%. Yeah, well, yeah, that's the case. It's like, you can't fix your brain, but I mean, money would fix almost all my problems.
You can sort of fix your brain. I mean, you have to. I mean,
well, yeah,
therapy and finding the right medications that work for you. But yes, you also have to know that something is wrong with your brain, and I don't think Elon Musk is willing to admit like
he thinks he has the best brain.
Yeah, he thinks his brain is superior. Because he's got $1 billion from a fucking emerald mine that his dad owned. Yeah. But yeah, I think I remember reading on Reddit back when I was browsing it casually, that it might have been the Sex Pistols, it might have been I don't think it was the Dead Kennedys. I'm pretty sure it might have been the Sex Pistols, but one of those bands was straight up like corporate from the get-go. Like one of the ones that people think of as like a classic punk band. Apparently it was corporate and like selling Pepsi from like the start. How much I can verify that? None. I'm literally just going off of hearsay of what I remember from Reddit. So that's about as worthwhile of a source as
do your own research.
Your dog.
Folks.
Yeah, do your own fucking research. But look up the Sex Pistols and see if they were corporate. If they weren't, let me know in the chat and tell me I was wrong, and then I'll know, and then you'll know, and then we'll all know.
That's true.
I have hot takes in the chat. Money only buys happiness if you're not born into it. I think that's fair.
Yeah, if you've never known what it's not like to not have money, then
yeah,
you have no context.
I think the thing with like Elon Musk is that like his family was so rich off of such exploitation that his parents probably were not good parents.
Right, they weren't good people, so the odds of them raising a well-adjusted child is difficult.
Because I can only imagine that like Elon's whole crusade about trying to get liked by people online is just trying to replace like the missing love of his parents or whatever. That's my armchair psychiatrist method.
Hey, who knows? I like what you made. This is nice.
Oh, thank you.
We got a hydrate and a posture check.
Woo! Hey man, I want to stay, but I'm about to pass out, so I'll see you all later. Have a good day. Thank you so much for being here while you could, Neo. I really appreciate your support. And also the self-care. It's always good to hydrate.
Yeah. Thanks for popping in.
What if I just drank this like the most annoying like
Why do all kids drink that
way? What?
There you go. Said, why do kids drink that way? They come in and they like gulp as loud as possible and they cough for like 2 minutes and like wipe with their whole arm.
Because they don't know no better. They don't know.
Stop giving them so many benefits of the doubt.
Kids.
Jeez. Fucking kids.
These fucking kids, I tell ya.
Why don't you have the knowledge of a grown person?
Why don't you know?
Don't you know? They don't.
I don't know. Do you? You know, it makes sense that Neo would have dipped out because this is kind of going longer than a normal episode does.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably finish coloring these and call it.
Yeah. I kind of noticed that it was the end of our normal episode time when I was like, should we do another? But I was like, hey,
I didn't notice. I literally just now when I finished the line work looked at the clock and I was like, oh. Damn.
No, when I said want to do another, it was like 10:05. But I was like,
right, but I didn't
do this in 5 minutes.
It's all good. We started like 15 minutes late, so why not?
True. We always do, but you know.
Give the people what they deserve.
That's right. You get what you pay for, and you pay for us being late. Because it's free.
Pay us.
That's true. Some people do pay us.
We appreciate it.
Brandon.
Yes, Ian.
How's your drawing coming along?
Good. I'm almost finished.
Nice.
I feel like you have more questions.
I do, but not quite.
Okay.
I was just going for the pump fake.
Oh, well, I mean, you know. Oh, hello. It's a Peppa.
Kitty cat.
She has a weird shaved belly because.
Oh my god.
Probably shouldn't be showing your chest to the internet.
POS.
You know, once that stuff's on the internet, it doesn't go away. She's got fixed, so her nips are out, and she's a black cat, so it's like way more aggressively it's like a beacon of just skin.
Those nips were like like goggles.
Well, she was pregnant too. She was pregnant too. And the hair is growing in a way that has turned, you know. Stop objectifying my cat, would you please, Ian? Come on.
I'm sorry.
She's a dignified woman and a mother of 5 that have been adopted out somewhere else.
You know, it's crazy that cats are like, oh yeah, they just have like 3 to 5.
Or more.
Every 2 months. If they
yeah, that's the crazy part.
Like, damn cats, can y'all chill out?
I think they're evolutionarily designed to just like multiply.
Oh yeah. And they're so like I feel like the tinier you are, the more like evolutionarily you
the more like able you are to be eaten, the more
or just get trampled underfoot.
Right. There has to be a lot of you to make up. You have to have numbers to make up for the design flaws.
Well, we made you really small, so you get stepped on a lot. But here's the good part. When you give birth to 100 of you.
That doesn't sound like a good part.
What? But like,
so I die, but a few of my kids live?
No, like 3 of your kids live out of 100. Isn't that great?
I like that you've watched so much Red Letter Media that now when you do that voice, you do.
I do Mike's.
Mike's like guy pitching the thing voice.
Yeah, that's true. Although I mean, I feel like that
is the voice.
The sort of huckster, like traveling salesman selling a scam, like the monorail guy from The Simpsons. I feel like that's been a trope for a while.
That's true. He didn't invent it.
Yeah. I'm definitely sort of borrowing, I think, from his methodology of doing the acts, like the continental sort of accent, like the yes.
Yeah.
Continental breakfast, oh boy. Sorry,
boy,
I cut you off.
Love a continental breakfast.
I love that continental breakfast sketch from Key and Peele.
I need to watch all of Key and Peele because I have not.
They just put it all up on Netflix.
Okay.
So you can watch without ads.
I'll check that out. That's great. Because it was on Hulu before, right?
Yeah. Which also I watch without ads.
Through it. I have a few commissions I've been putting off due to getting wedding stuff ready, but now that that's all ready, I might just dig in this next like week.
Recommend it. I love that show. But the
ones I've seen I love. I just haven't seen them all.
The continental breakfast sketch though is among my favorites from that show. It's a classic, and like anytime I go to a hotel and they have continental breakfast, like when I go for that continental, I just like have the skit playing on my phone on the table as I'm eating and laughing at it.
I'll watch it after this.
It's so fucking funny. I really highly recommend it. It's such a good sketch. I'm not even gonna give anything away other than it features continental breakfast.
All right.
But it's phenomenal. It's a really funny sketch.
I feel like for our first design, we tried to make something that would actually exist in the Pokeverse, and the second one we kind of went our own way.
Speak for yourself. I could see this thing existing.
You think a semi truck?
Yeah.
I mean,
dude,
yeah,
I saw one in the new Scarlet
right.
game when I was scrolling through the list. I didn't want to give it to you, but I would describe it as a V6 engine mixed with a Porygon. That's what the fucking thing looked like. It looked like, and it was called like Vroom Vroom and Mon or something like that.
So there are 2 Pokemon in the new one that are your way of getting around that just look like motorcycles.
Yeah, I did see that one, Moist Critical.
It's like the main ones. Yeah. I have to show the one that I love the design for that I couldn't really describe because it's just straight up like a jellyfish, but I'm gonna post it right now because I think I'm done with my drawing.
I'm just about done with mine.
I have to figure out my name too, but let me post this great design that I'm a big fan of. Simple, but simplicity is part of the art. Boom. There it is.
Is that mine?
No, that's a jellyfish one that I like a lot. That I thought was a fun design.
Basically, that's like Tentacruel, or with the Tentacool, but like instead of
standing,
he's standing on his little like wigglies. It's very funny.
I like that he's just using his tentacles as legs, and he only has 2. He doesn't have extras. Like, they didn't give him arms. Yeah. Just 2 for legs.
His legs make me think of Mr. Meeseeks.
It actually, you were right, because they do this thing now where there's like different versions of Pokemon in different areas in the world. So this one's called Toadstool. So it's obviously something towards Tentacruel or Tentacool.
He looks like his
Toadstool. It's supposed to be like Toadstool and Toadschool. It's so weird. And the evolution is called Toadscruel. So they're definitely doing a Tentacruel thing.
Yeah. The way his legs look just remind me of Mr. Meeseeks. Like, hooey!
Yeah.
I sure can't wait to do that battle.
Bell Rocket says, I'm gonna pet that cat. Yes, you are. You're gonna be, hopefully, unless they've learned to like each other, you're gonna be sleeping in the room with it. You're gonna be stuck. You're gonna be wishing you got a hotel, because this thing's gonna be farting next to you. But you know cats. Maybe you can tame the beast. And then he says, that's a SpongeBob character. He even has shoes. Yeah, he looks like a SpongeBob character.
Yeah, he does.
All right, I need to name this guy. Let's see. I'm in deep thought.
Ooh-wee.
I think I got it.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Turn Tony.
Trying to do some like play on tarantula.
I was, that's good. I was thinking Tyran Tortellini or Tortellini Antula.
That's good too. I was originally gonna do like Tony like Antula, but that did not work.
Oh yeah.
I'll keep thinking.
Hey, Arachnid.
Hey, that's a good one. I like that's better. I'll write it down here, but I feel like I can't straight up take it.
Hey, Arachnid.
All
right. And I named my crab thing, We Crab It.
I like it. All right,
Cause it's like U-Haul and We Crab It.
I think it's time to reveal the real ones. I feel bad because I feel like I led you a little bit astray, but I do love your design, so it was worth it. I was trying to think of a good way to describe this thing, like in a way that wasn't just straight up like describing the, you know, what it was. Oh, spit up. I like it. I probably should have said oyster instead of hermit crab, but I just wanted a creature living inside something.
That's a big difference.
I know, and that's why I tried to I was gonna correct myself, but I just wanted to see what you had. But here's what we got.
If it was gonna be an oyster, I probably would have gone for the shipping container that I was originally thinking of. Oh, very different. Interesting.
Yeah, I just didn't want to say like treasure chest because that's basically the whole design, so I didn't want to give that part away.
Yeah.
And I wanted to like say there's something living inside of it instead of you drawing the thing. Oyster would have been a better, or clam, but I didn't think of that till after I said hermit crab.
Kind of like a mimic clam.
Yeah. And then I found like the game, you actually see him and he looks, I'm way off. I didn't know this when I was doing it. I'm just doing some more research now. He looks like this guy here. But he's inside a treasure chest.
Oh, that's the dude inside of him? All right.
So he's like coin, he's more coin-esque, like his eyes and stuff. But I didn't know that. I only went off that first image. But I love your design, so I'm glad that I said what I said because we got this drawing now.
There you go.
I like that his arms come out of the back tire, so that's a great choice.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Ian, do you have anything to plug?
Brandon. Wait, did I click the button? Okay, yeah, because my Stream Deck fucking deleted all my labels and buttons right before the show. I don't got anything like most recently to plug, but I mean, go check out Dungeons and DrawBombs episode 2. It's up on YouTube. Pretty good, I think.
Yeah, it's great.
Check out that,
especially the editing.
Yeah, thank you. Check out that Kickstarter. It finished. It got funded, so you might be too late to get a book anymore if you missed it. But I don't know. We could sell more. That's it.
Okay. I don't have much to plug except for the DrawBomb show on Mondays. I don't know if we're doing next week. It's up in the air right now. Ian might be out of town, and also it's the day before you guys do some traveling. I don't know how early, bright and early, you're gonna have to get up on Monday.
I have to get up pretty bright and early on Monday.
When's your flight leave? Like
8:30.
Okay.
I try and get there.
Gotcha.
Like an hour and a half beforehand, I like to think.
Wow.
I think that's fair, right? An hour and a half.
That's careful.
Flight.
I'm not a good person to ask. Your airport you're going to is a giant airport.
Yeah.
Usually with international flights, or flights within the country, you don't have to be there that early.
True.
I don't want to tell you wrong and then you get there too early. I would say, I can't say because I don't know the Philly airport. You talk to, Izzy, she might know, but like I get there in under an hour, but I have a small airport in Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids is like super tiny.
Well, I remember getting on the plane in Philly was actually super easy. Like I was in line for maybe like 30 minutes. Or
Tuesday, yeah. Belba Rocket says on Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah. But I mean, I'll be in Philly on Monday. So. But who knows? I mean, I'll be staying at in the chat is he hasn't been in for a while, but we've actually had him on the show, Ravenastra.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
I mean, if you're hanging out with some friends that you don't see very often, don't worry about being on the show unless you guys want to. Like if you're looking for something to do.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably just hang out and drink or something, hang out, just play Rock Band. I don't know.
Live in the moment, man. Don't worry about Twitter, don't worry about Twitch. Is like, hold on you, bro. Like, you're free. You're free, man, to make your own decisions.
We make our own schedules, dude. Like, it's fine.
Who knows? Maybe during that slot, I'll like stream something for fun, like a game or something. We'll see. Play it by ear.
You know, see what happens.
Yeah. But yeah, because if we don't do it, if we don't do it next week, that's 2 weeks we're not gonna do it, which is fine. But
2 weeks.
You're flying back. Well, when do you fly back on Tuesday?
No, I don't fly back on a Tuesday. I don't think.
Oh, I thought you came on Tuesday and left on Tuesday.
I think it's a Sunday. Let me just double check. Click the one that's got a star next to it. Oh, it is a Tuesday. Okay. Well, I mean, if you want, I mean, that Monday we'll be done with the wedding. We'll be chilling.
Oh, we could do a live show.
We could do a live show, like, we're both in the same room. I don't have to leave until actually, like, Tuesday night.
Oh, right. Tuesday isn't the day we do the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting an affiliate.
Monday's the day we do the show.
Oof.
You have a way home from there?
Well, I'm gonna talk to Rabbinaster again and see if
you can pop in there and crash for the night.
Crash for the night, but I'm not too worried about it.
For some reason, I was thinking the show was on Tuesday, so I got mixed up. Yeah, we can do a show live maybe if we're feeling like it. If I'm not feeling like being a bum still after the wedding.
We'll see. I mean, the last time we did an episode where we were both in the same room at the same time was episode 20.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like next 2 weeks are up in the air. You know, we'll let you know when we know, but we don't know.
We don't know. We'll be back. We know that. I mean, we're not. You know.
Yes.
That we can say for sure.
Unless like we all get smeared by a bus while crossing the street. You know?
Some kind of final.
Then we won't be back.
Shit. Yeah.
And we'll be ghosts.
We'll be all spoopy. This will be like a weird recording in the past.
Wow. They'll be like, wow, they predicted it.
They knew it was happening.
Anyways, on that note.
On the note of ending with us having an unfortunate and untimely demise. See you later, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. We don't do that anymore, I think. We do.